Hey everybody, this is Kiani, and welcome to another build episode. Today we're gonna be farming. Actually, we're gonna get that good green stuff that nobody ever wants to farm, but everybody needs. Yeah, we're talking sugarcane here. So there's a couple of ways to make a sugarcane farm. I created this little test area because I wanted to see how far away sugarcane will grow from the player, because sugarcane grows on player ticks, and that requires players to be around. This block here is 61 blocks away from my AFK spot, and, well, it grew. So, I didn't actually find the range, because I didn't think it was 61 blocks, but it was, at minimum, so that's good. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm not going to build a typical farm that you would see. Normally, you would see, like, 3 blocks stacked up, and you'll have like an observer on top of a piston, and it punches out the second block when it grows 3 tall. That's a very common farm, but I don't like those. They're prone to loss. They're hard. It's hard to mitigate the loss, and they're very. It takes a lot of redstone components. They're very vertical. They're just big farms, and you don't get everything out of them. I'm gonna take all these back because I actually need the sugarcane too. What I'm gonna do, you may have already glimpsed it in the background, is I'm going to make this a horizontal farm, and instead of harvesting it off of, yeah, I got space. Instead of harvesting it off of pistons attached to observers, we're going to harvest it off of flying machines. We're going to have a flying machine that runs across a bunch of these things, but we're going to make it fully AFKable, everything like that. And we're going to mitigate this kind of loss, where you're like, oh, it just fell where I can't collect it. Oh no, what do I do? I think I have enough sugar. Well, do I have enough sugarcane? Now, I want to be clear. This is a wholly unnecessary farm. This is going to be wildly unnecessary. And that's the kind of farm I'm into. That's what I want to see. That's what I like to build. So, I've already built out a structure for it. You'll notice the slime blocks. These are going to be the flying machine slime blocks. They're going to run across this whole thing and then come back. They're going to knock down anything that's grown at all. These upper rows here are going to be the planting rows. This is where we're actually going to have our sugarcane. I can't actually plant it right now because there's no water. And these bottom ones will be water rows. And what's going to happen is under each of these upper rows, underneath, I haven't put this down yet, but underneath there's going to be a minecart, a hopper minecart that runs below each of these upper rows, and it's going to collect anything that falls on here, on one of these top rows, and then these bottom rows, there's already got to be water for the sugarcane to plant. And at first, my first idea was like, oh, let's just run minecarts under all of them, right? But then I thought, no, we already have water there. We're going to use a water transportation system. We're just going to put a water stream going this way, and that should take care entirely of transportation. We'll just put hoppers at the end. We'll make a minecart docking station for these upper ones. I already have this built out, so here's a quick look at how this is going to work. This may look like a jumble or redstone because I made it a bit small, but consider this is an upper row, and this is an upper row, and this is the water row. If I put water in there, it just freezes. So this is how the minecart tracks are essentially going to be laid out. Here at the start, we're going to have a row of redstone. There's going to be blocks running across, and it's just going to be a single line of redstone attached to an observer. And the observer is going to be observing its own piece of sugarcane that's going to grow, and every time it grows, it's going to send out a pulse, which will activate all the powered rails. There's going to be rows of powered rails, and this will send the minecarts out. When the minecarts get over here, you see this powered rail is this powered rail is powered currently because there's this redstone block. What's going to happen is the minecart's going to get here. This hopper is attached to a comparator. And so when the minecart gets here, it's going to drop an item, which is going to activate the comparator. And one item is enough. It's going to power this block and depower the torch that's sitting on that block, which will then depower this piston, sticky piston, pulling this redstone block back and depowering this powered rail. So the minecart comes here, it drops a single item, and the rail deactivates, meaning the minecart can't return. And it's sitting up against this solid block. That's important. Oh, that scared me. Like, I'm not scared of Enderman. I just did not expect that to happen. But anyway, the minecart gets here, the rail depowers, it empties everything it's got, and then when the hopper is empty, this comparator turns off, this torch turns back on, piston pushes the redstone block back, activates the rail, and because the minecart is pushed up against a solid block, when the rail activates, it sends it back. These rails will also be activated. They'll be constantly activated. I just don't have a redstone torch. I'll probably put just like a block underneath it. Like this will be sitting on a redstone block and it'll power a bunch of them. And so that's the basic setup. And then the top will just have water streams that run and collect the items. So that should be good. I think there will probably be a few spots where the water streams break. I'll have to kind of think about how I want to do that, because there might be like every 7 blocks, every 7 or 8 blocks. Water runs for 8 blocks, so probably every 9 blocks. There will be a space where sugarcane can't grow, because the water will stop, and then there'll be like an ice block where the items can keep sliding into the next water stream. But I have to think about that. Maybe there's a way I can mitigate that. Haven't got there yet, but it's okay. So what I've built up here is 6 rows. It's 12 blocks long, but it's 6 growing rows, and it's 50 blocks long. So it's 12 blocks wide, 50 blocks long, and that's going to be 6 rows of 50, which is going to be 300 sugarcane plants. Which I think I have. I think I got that. Been working on getting sugarcane. I've had these growing down here too, just in case I don't have enough. The irony of how much sugarcane I've had to farm for a sugarcane farm does not escape me. So I'm gonna throw these away for a minute. I also have enough powered rails to get all this done. So the first thing we need to do, we need to get our dirt, and we need to put a platform underneath. So I'm gonna get that in. Alright, so if you're like me and you struggle with simple concepts about like how to do things, I actually had to, I built the upper row, I built all the growth rows and then realized I had to put blocks underneath them in a weird way, so I actually had to take those down. But I find it's actually really easy to put them back, because once you put the powered rails in, you can just put a block on the powered rail and it goes exactly where you need, so like this will be a growth row. Yeah, so if you don't plan, if you don't do things right, it's harder. So what I'm going to do now, as you can see, I put it on all my powered rails, and then each of these powered rails is going to be covered in this manner, and then these will all be growth rows. We put the sugarcane on these upper rows here. What I'm going to do right now, though, just so I have it on camera, so you know what's going on, I'm going to replace some of these blocks with redstone blocks, and you'll see it powers the rails. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 away from the block, right? Not including the one it's on. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So I don't actually want to do that one, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to go 4 in from this one, and I'm just gonna put these in a way that, like, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just gonna throw them around like that, right? And I'm now at the end of this, I'm gonna go out 8 blocks, and I'm gonna put another one, and I'm just gonna power all the rails like this by just replacing one of the bottom blocks with redstone. But first, I'm gonna sleep. All right. So as you can see, all of our rails are powered now. It only took, I think, 3. Maybe I missed one, but that's fine. Make sure you do all the rows. Tip number 1, make sure you do all the rows. So I have 6 rows. Yeah, now that they're all powered, and this is important to power them now before you put the blocks on top, because It's gonna be hard to do it after. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be impossible. You're gonna have to take out the blocks. So now we cover these over with grass blocks. We're using grass because that's what you grow sugarcane on. So I'm gonna make all of these rows like this, and then you won't even know I put these rails in. So I'll be back when that's done. And it's in. So I have, again, 6 growing rows, and what we're going to do now is put in the water. You'll see I filled my inventory with water buckets. This is a wholly unnecessary thing to do. I just wanted to make a bunch of water buckets, if I'm being honest. So if I do that, that's not going to work. So I actually need a little bit of grass. What I'm going to do here. Slime, you're in the way. So do that. Make sure it runs the right direction. And where it stops, I'm gonna skip a spot. I'll put a sign there. I don't have any signs on me right now, but push them like that. Put a block. Just keep going. You could easily just like make an infinite water source that you keep going back to, but I don't want to do that. I don't have a reason for that. I just don't want to. So I could say something like, "Oh, it takes up more time," but arguable. Alright, once you reach the end, do it again. Alright, and once you have all of the grass blocks in, well, they don't need to do grass blocks, but once you have all the water streams in, we're going to replace all these grass blocks with signs, and we're going to replace the block underneath them with ice. Ice is pretty easy to get if you don't know. I can show you right now. So you just go up above like Y90, I think, anywhere snow forms. Any water source above that will freeze at some point. Freezing works on player ticks, so you have to be nearby, but you can pretty easily make a very small ice farm. So it'll freeze when it's next to solid blocks. So an easy ice farm kind of looks like this. Building this badly. Like, that's a pretty easy ice farm right there. All you do is fill this in with solid water blocks. So now all of that ice can freeze, and you can just you can take it out with Silk Touch. This one's pretty small, so if it all freezes, like, you're gonna have to kind of refill it a bit. But you can mitigate that really easily by just having like a secondary little water source here. Oh, this needs to be 3 long. So this is a permanent water source now. This will freeze too, but all you have to do is break it with like your hand or anything not Silk Touch, and it'll turn back into a water source. So you can refill this one while this one generates ice for you. I already have ice, so I don't need to actually run this farm. But boy, isn't this looking nice? So yeah, we're going to replace each one of these with a sign, and then we're going to put an ice block below it. So I'm going to get that in real quick. You know, one thing to note when doing this is use at least packed ice. Don't use regular ice. I know that's inconvenient, but regular ice will melt after a certain light level. And I don't think you can get that during just like daylight. But if you light this farm up, because this can become a bit of a mob farm, you will inevitably melt your ice, which will destroy all your redstone and just not just hurt the farm, but just completely break it, like rebuildable, like time to rebuild, break it. So use packed ice or blue ice if you're feeling frisky. If you've got the resources, I don't feel the need for blue ice, but you can. It's not going to improve your efficiency. You're not a better Minecrafter because you use blue ice. And you're not worse because you use packed ice. Hey, so we got all our signs in. We got all our ice in. So that item transportation is done. The water is good to go. If anything lands in the water, it'll slide this way and get taken all the way down. Right. It makes it all the way across. See? Now, we've got the rails in, we've got that in, so what we need to do is set up the return stations, the railcart return stations. So this is kind of just setting up collection. Just got to stop that water coming out. So collection's going to be over here on this side. I mean, you can put it wherever you want, obviously, but everything is running this way, so might as well collect over here. I guess we could run like another hopper line that goes all the way back over here. Because the thing, I mean, we can AFK on this side. Who cares where we AFK? Yeah. All right, so we're trying to do some figuring out here. I haven't tested everything about this farm yet. I'm building it on the fly. So I put some signs here. This is going to be unnecessary because I can put like the water can flow onto the hopper like this. If I break this sign, right, the water can flow onto the hopper. It's fine. And this block needs to be here anyway, just to make sure nothing goes past the hopper. But I'm putting these signs down for redstone safety reasons. So in case I break this hopper, or if I put the blocks out here and I break the blocks, the water doesn't come spilling out because I'm doing some redstone here. So what we have to do is first extend this track by a little bit, and then we need regular rails. I really need a better access. So we put a regular rail and a powered rail, and that one will be powered. I probably shouldn't be building this directly over. Let's move over one. So we extend, and we put that. All right, and the point is there's going to be a redstone block sitting over this block, so we don't want it. I guess it could be here. Yeah, this will be fine. We don't actually need to extend that rail one. We can just do it from the end. I thought we might have to extend it, but I'm looking at it now because there's going to be a redstone block sitting over this powered rail, but that's going to be right here, which is adjacent to these, but diagonally adjacent, but that's not going to lock the hoppers. And that's what I was worried about, is if the redstone block was going to lock the hoppers. So what we're going to do is extend these out. Just a couple. I'm doing 3. Two's the only necessity, obviously. And so we can do like that. We can do like this. And we do like that. So we extend those out. Let's go ahead and get some redstone going. Oh, sorry. This has to be on top. Figuring things out as I go. This has to be on top of a hopper. So we need to decide which way our hoppers are going. We'll put the AFK on this side. It's pretty easy to do. Because this is where collection's going to be. So we just need to decide. We'll probably put a chest out here. So we're just going to make the hoppers kind of face this direction for now. I have hoppers on me, so that's good. All right. Alright, so we got an unpowered rail, a regular rail, into a powered rail on top of a hopper. The hoppers are all facing out this way. You can see by the arrows on the sides. And then what we're going to do is well, there's going to be a block here, and this is the stopper block. This can be anything as long as it's solid. We're going to take all these out. So the rail cart's going to go up against that stopper block, and what we're going to do is put blocks underneath now. All right, and we're going to put comparators on those. I'm short on comparators. Let me go make some real quick. All right, so we got our comparators just set up just like this. We have, make sure you have all of them. I realized I'd missed a space over here. So put a block in front of the comparators. This is the easy bit. Putting blocks is the easy bit. And then let's get some sticky pistons. There they are. And torches. So on top of that block, put a torch. Come up here. On top of that torch, put a sticky piston. And in front of that sticky piston, put a redstone block. Remember to always misplace the last one. And that's it. So the minecarts will come all the way here. They'll unload themselves. If they have any items in them, they'll stop and unload everything. And then when they're empty, they'll get sent back the other way. Okay, so now we need to build an actual collection system. To do that, all these hoppers we're going to turn around. We're going to send them that way. And we're going to combine them with these hoppers. So actually, yeah, I don't have enough hoppers. Let me mix. Where am I going to get the iron for all these hoppers? Cool, we got enough. Honestly, where do I get the wood for these things? I need a wood farm. Alright, so these all have signs, so it's okay to break these hoppers. Alright, so we got hoppers. We need to combine these two rows of hoppers. To do that, well, honestly, we should probably just put another one like this. So even though there's a redstone block here, it's not going to power this hopper, which is not going to, so it's not going to lock it. And that's really the only thing we worry about in that situation. So we're going to knock all these out. And then we're going to drop these hoppers down so that they connect with this line of hoppers. Oh yeah, I forgot. These hoppers, yeah, they're facing into the... Okay. So... I've made a mistake. Okay, so I've gone into spectator mode to show you the hopper setup because I did it a little badly to start with. And if you're like, oh man, what you did the hoppers wrong. Yeah, this is redstone, all right? You do hoppers wrong. So for the top, you want one facing in to one facing down. You see how that works? It goes left, and then this one goes straight down. You want them all like that, okay? And then the second row, so this hopper where the minecart goes over, don't face it into the comparator, face it into hoppers next to it. So actually if I, yes, okay, good. Alright, so I'm going to break these blocks out real quick. These are just temporary. And we'll go back into spectator. So, that hopper leads into one down here, and these go all out here. And all the ones with the powered rails on them need to face inwards to a different hopper, one that goes out from here, right? So you don't want any of the ones with the powered rails on them. You don't want them facing into the comparator or anything, right? So you double check all these, right? So you got your comparator, and this one's facing to the side, comparator facing to the side, comparator facing to the side, etc., right? And then what we've created is a chain of hoppers from the top and the bottom that run into these 5 hopper chains. What we're going to do is take those out. I'll need to make more hoppers, but what we do is we take them out like in this direction, right? And we combine them all into a central point where we put chests, and we can run the chests down, and that way all collection is centralized to a single spot. So let me make some more hoppers. Definitely need wood. Oh, bye-bye trees. Okay, made more hoppers. So what we want to do now is figure out where we want the actual storage to be. It's got to be on this level, this hopper level here. So obviously just kind of centralize it. I don't think this farm is, let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it does have a central point, but what that means is a too wide chest doesn't fit centrally. But we can do... So what we're going to do is put our first chest just here. Alright, and all we have to do now is connect these hoppers to it. So let's do like this. Yeah, this will be industrial looking. This is going to be difficult. I'm going to have to do this from above. That shouldn't lock that hopper. Nope, doesn't lock the hopper. Never know with redstone. So we've connected all the hoppers to the chest. Everything is connected here. What we're going to want to do now, we can put a block right here next to the redstone. And we can remove these signs. So they are now unnecessary, and this will also be a nice test to see if they end up in our... Yeah, so they do. So the signs ended up in the collection, which means collection is working properly. So now we just need to build the flying machines. It's getting dark again. The flying machines are pretty much almost built. I actually need some pistons. Probably the easiest part of the farm, really. Collection is easily the hardest. Now we are working within the push limit of blocks of a flying machine, so Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That may, if I just put a flying machine like on the back of this, that would be too many. But what we're gonna do is actually incorporate the flying machine as part of the block breaker setup. I don't know why. I just want these to be symmetrical. So a flying machine is an extremely simple thing. So a flying machine is extremely simple to build. All it is it's 4 blocks wide, or it's a 2x2, right? And what you're gonna do is break out that block. Let's get pistons. Put a sticky piston here. Well, not facing up. Sticky, not facing out either. Why? Sticky piston facing in, and you do the same thing in the opposite corner. Sticky piston facing in. Take these out. You take these out. And then what you want is an observer. Gonna do that. Facing down. Right? Pointing down, right? So it faces up and it points down. Don't break this block yet. You'll be tempted. Don't break these blocks yet. Because these observers are the engine, and the flying machine will start moving. So I have some obsidian. I'm going to... We'll place the obsidian one away right now. So we had the obsidian one away. What we're going to do... Let's put one behind it too, just for safety. Right now, obsidian's unmovable, so it won't be able to hit that. So I'm gonna take that off. If you hit this one, if you activate this one, it sends it that way. If you activate this one, it'll send it this way. So you see how these moved one block? That means we're doing it correctly. Now we need. So if we send it the other way, see, very easy. Very, very easy. It's a two-way flying machine. That's it. It's 6 blocks total. And since this piston here is pushing all these blocks, you'll see we had 11 blocks in a row, and this is the 12th block that it's pushing. So this is actually a push limit for that piston. But it's a very simple design. So now we need the return station, because we want to come all the way back, all the way there and all the way back. And that's going to be obsidian. So let's go figure that out real quick. Just for the record, yeah, I know how high it is. So we want it to stop at this block, which means we need to put a stopper block here, basically. Yeah, it's flying at this height, right? So I don't have a slime farm. I can't afford to lose slime. So it's flying at that height, so we're going to want to stop it at that height. And we'll just put a row of obsidian. Or no, we just need the one. One's good. So on that obsidian, what we do, let's see. Yeah, we need to put one in. All right. So we want observer facing that block, literally facing it. Nope, we want observer on that block, um, facing out. So take that off, and then a single dot of redstone dust. That that is a return station. So what's going to happen is the flying machine will arrive here. It will activate the observer. The observer will see it come in. It'll activate this redstone, which powers the block underneath it, and this is next to the that piston right there. And it's going to reactivate the piston and send the flying machine the other direction. Yeah, that should do it. So let's go ahead and give that a test. Ah, see, I made a mistake. I left this block in. Right. So now, if we, yeah, there we go. See, send it on its way. No change to the setup. Just don't leave that block in. Might be gone to the ages. And it should just stop right here on this. That was a good. That's a good land. It should just stop right here. And that's it. That's how you break it. So, what we want to do now is fill these rows with sugarcane, right? And we're gonna need to wall this in on all sides just a little bit. You can use whatever you want. Just remember at this second block row, you're gonna need to use immovable blocks like obsidian or anything that this won't stick to. So you could use obsidian. You could use what do you think? Like furnaces. Furnaces are usually a popular choice because they're really, really easy to make. You can use stained terracotta because stained terracotta is it's slick, so it doesn't stick to these blocks. It's not immovable, but it doesn't stick to these blocks. So you could run a whole row, but remember it's going to be a full row down the sides. So pick your favorite looking block. I think I'm going to go with maybe crying obsidian. Let me go get some of that. Okay, and when you're done building the sides, it should look something like this. Remember, all of these should be blocks that do not stick to sticky blocks, and anything that's touching that should be that block. So I made crying obsidian. I just like the look of it. As you can see, I went all the way around, and then I put glass up. And the point of doing all this, is that it will prevent anything from falling out of the farm. Right, because the only thing that's collecting is the spaces inside of the farm. So now we only have two things left to do. We need to decide when this fires. We could have it running constantly, but that's not good, especially with flying machines. When you leave, you could break them if they're mid-flight. So you definitely don't want them flying constantly, but you also you also want to AFK it, right? So you don't want to have to constantly press a button to make this go. So what I came up with an interesting solution, I think. So all these obsidian blocks attach to these, and they'll stop it going this way. So what I'm going to do is to make it go that way, you have to activate this piston here. And what I'm going to do is not that. I'm going to misplace a block, and then I'm going to come down here and place it properly, right? Then I'm going to go get some redstone. Uh, there we go. So now, every time the sugar cane grows up 2, it's going to activate the observer, and it's going to pop this piston, which will break it. We're not collecting this sugar cane; it's unnecessary. We we just built a sugar cane farm. But it'll also activate the flying machines. So every time one of these sugar canes grows up to 2, it'll get broken and activate the flying machine. And since we have 2 of them, there's really no chance that it won't activate fairly often. And so it's not going to be like every time this flying machine sweeps across, every single one of these is like fully grown or anything. It's just going to collect what's already been grown. But I think it's a fun little timer to run these machines. I could just put like a hopper clock or something, but that would be way too fast. This is a more interesting thing, and I like the idea of using sugarcane, the growing of sugarcane, to activate the sugarcane flying machines. So now all we really have left to do, well, there's 2 things. We have to put in the minecarts, and then we have to put in the sugarcane itself. So let's get these minecarts in, and be sure to put a stopper block on this far side, because dolphin speed. So these holes right here, right? There needs to be a stopper block there. Gotta kill the guy. He won't despawn because he's holding an item. So, yeah. Otherwise, your minecarts are gonna fly out into the ocean. You don't want that. So let's do that. We're gonna put hopper minecarts in. Okay, folks, and here we have it. The final farm design that I've decided to go with. I did decide to put these lights in. I thought about it because a mob could spawn in the farm, and they will spawn in the farm, and then they could theoretically pick up a sugarcane that falls off, and then they wouldn't despawn because they're holding an item now. So I decided to just spawn proof it, just because I could probably put a light over here, because all these are spawnable. So I'll probably put something over there, but that one doesn't really matter because I can't pick anything up there. So they'll despawn on that side. The carts are just going to run forever, and I put this little AFK box. It's just very simple. This long bit is for when you fly in with your wings. You can land here and then hit the door, and this is a safe room. Should probably put glass right there. And these 4 blocks will be chests. I'm going to put chests down there. I just haven't done that. But that's the final design. All set up, all working. You can see I had to replant some of the sugarcane when I put the light blocks in. I had to take the water out, and that broke all the sugarcane, which did get picked up in the minecarts, thankfully. So we know all that works. And now the farm's spawn-proofed. Everything's functional. You can see these have already grown 1. So the next time one of these things grow, the the flying machine will go out, and you can see since I didn't break these, you can see they've all mostly grown. I broke a few by hand, like some of these in the front. So you can see most of these have grown. So by the time this thing grows, most of your farm should be grown up. So it's a pretty good clock, I think. I think it'll work out really well. But that's the whole thing. Thanks for watching. I know it's been a bit of a long tutorial for what is essentially a simple farm. But now that you've seen it's full, I think it's a very fun farm. I think it's an interesting one. And it's harder to build than it is to actually describe and design. Just physically, it's a little bit difficult. I think if I did this on the ground, I didn't have to constantly build downwards. It'd be a lot easier. But if you like this, let me know. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Leave a comment. Tell me you liked it. And if you want to see any more farms, literally, like any farm, I guess nothing crazy. Like, oh, I want a bedrock farm. No, go to Ray for that. But if you want just normal farms, I'm a very technical player. I like building farms. This is a farm of my own design. sort of. I mean, I'm not the first person to do flying machines harvesting like sugarcane, but I didn't look at any guide for this. I did this off the cuff on my own. So this was a lot of fun to do, and I'd be happy to do more of these in the future. Or if you want like in-depth explanations, I've been thinking about doing a series on farms, like in-depth explanations on all farms. Not all farms, but a lot of farms. Mob farms, witch farms, things like that. That people may not understand the mechanics of Wither Skull farms. It'd be fun to do maybe explanation videos for stuff like that. But this is it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll try to answer them. I regularly try to keep up with the comments, even if I don't respond to everything. So, thanks for watching. This has been my first farm video. It's probably ran way too long and it was a bit confusing, but I'll work on them in the future. But anyway, until next time, be happy.